the human being, has anybody ever read that book, The Body Keeps the Score? Yeah, I believe that. Right? It's an excellent book. The Body Keeps the Score. What it means is, for your entire life, your nervous system records every single event that happens to you, but not in pictures, like your imagination, but in your response to that event. It records it. And we're starting to learn that there's all different types of intelligences. Like, this is starting to become scientifically proven. We know that there's emotional intelligence, right? There's rational intelligence. There's spatial intelligence, like people who know how to fight really, really well. That's because they learned spatial intelligence. They know how to close distances and measure where his head is going to be at in the next 1 second, right? There's all different types of intelligences. Now, the Quran tells us that our bodies have intelligence. What's the shit talking about? You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala tells us in the Quran that on the day of judgment, your limbs will speak. Your limbs will testify to everything you did in your life with them. They will testify. This is a type of intelligence, right? Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he told us, he said, every morning when you wake up, the limbs plead with the tongue, right? This is in the spiritual realm. In the spiritual realm, the limbs say, please be straight. If you are straight, we'll be straight. But if you are crooked, then we are ruined. But you won't have access to that until the day of judgment. What am I saying? What I'm saying is, every single one of us has some type of response to every single event in our life. From the time you are born, you have implicit, I'm not saying explicit, right? You may not remember the event, but your nervous system will respond. So for example, if people in your family are given to yelling, and you would always wake up, when you were a baby, because people were yelling, your nervous system has recorded that. And when you hear yelling, you have a physical response to it. Your body fills up with adrenaline, the cortisol begins to flow. This is the stress hormone. And then the only thing that makes you feel better and calm is weed. Right? Is it legal here?
Yeah.
It's legal?
Yep.
Down the rabbit hole. Right? And so sometimes when you talk to the person, they may not have explicit memories of trauma. They may not know what happened to them before, because you don't start actually remembering things until you are about 2.5, 3 years old. Then you can start actually having pictures that go along with your experiences. But before that, your nervous system is remembering everything. If you just watch a 1-year-old who just began to learn how to walk, just watch how they respond when they get ready to stumble and fall. They've fallen before. And when it begins to happen again, they try to catch themselves because they don't want to be hurt again. But their memory is not developed enough. It's the nervous system that's saying, hey, don't do that again. You remember what happened. Don't do that. So when a person gets addicted, sometimes they may not be able to tell you what happened. If you can bring it out, but you can still help them to heal even without knowing explicitly everything that happened. All right? So that's the first thing, right? So you have this this binging. And I'm saying binging because it might not be substances, right? It might be, like I said, it could be gambling or pornography or shopping. It can be those things. All right? So they're experiencing the rewards. They're experiencing, all the pleasure that goes along with it. And then this leads to increased consumption. for that effect. Yeah. Yeah. Now, what happens is that eventually you begin to develop tolerance. Right? This is what makes people increase. You notice, like, so for example, so I came here and I drank that tea. MashaAllah. I had the tea. Right? You got your own mall and everything, right? Alhamdulillah. So, but what's gonna happen if I start drinking it every day? I'm gonna love it at first, but eventually the pleasure that goes along with it goes away. So I need more of it. All right? So this is when we begin to have the negative effect. And especially when you're talking about substances, you're beginning to watch the person, they begin to change. You begin to see that they're beginning to develop some type of dependence on the behavior or the substance.